This video is sponsored by Squarespace. So if you haven't noticed, a lot of photographers haven't been booking like they usually do. I mean, I myself only have 2 weddings on the books for next year. So what exactly happened? The engagement gap. So if you haven't heard of the engagement gap or the wedding gap, basically it's something that happened over the last couple of years. So generally it takes a couple about 3 to 4 years to really get to that engagement stage. I can even vouch for myself. That was about as long as me and my wife dated before we got engaged. But if you think back about 3 years ago, something pretty large happened in the world that stopped couples from dating the way that they usually do. In 2020, we were all stuck at home. We weren't going out as usual, so people meeting around that time didn't happen like it usually does. On top of that, everything is basically digital and people are pretty much using online apps for dating. Everything is just very different at this point. So in 2020, we had less couples getting together. 2021, we had all of our postponed 2020 weddings and also the people booking for 2021 and also an uptick of couples trying to get married in 2021 because they didn't know if there was going to be another lockdown or not. 2022 was a lot of the same as well. So a lot of photographers were feeling themselves between 2021 and 2022. Bookings were all over the place, and there were a lot of new wedding photographers who hit the scene. Actually, let me know in the comments below if you started your business in 2021 or 2022. But now we're at 2023, which is the 3 year mark after 2020, and there's not as much bookings going around. Even this CNN article here talks about the engagement gap. Engagement ring sales are down sharply according to America's biggest jeweler. So again, you can see it here. Even CNN is reporting on the engagement gap. Let's see what it talks about. It seems to be a turbulent time for retailers who cater to couples in love. So clearly the wedding industry in a whole. On the heel of David's Bridal, the largest seller of wedding dresses, declaring bankruptcy last week, and this was in April. Another big seller of symbols of enduring love, like rings, disclosed that their business has not yet recovered from 2020. So, again, you can totally see this happening to the whole industry. So, this is not something that's just happening to wedding photographers. Really, couples not getting engaged in 2020 or not meeting in 2020 has really affected the whole wedding industry. Signet Jewelers, with brands including Zales, Jarrett, K Jewelers, and Diamonds Direct under its corporate umbrella, said a lot of early relationships in particular faded as lockdowns began in the winter and spring of 2020, only to be followed by a dramatic decline in dating. So again, couples weren't getting together and now people just aren't dating as much. So this is what created the engagement gap. And I'll link this article in the description below, but the rest of it's just talking about how, it takes about 3 to 4 years for couples to get engaged. And honestly, what did they say? The category will need to grow approximately 25% by calendar year 2026 just to return to prior engagement levels. So basically, the wedding industry bubble has popped. We were having a great time 2021, 22, and a little bit of 2023, but now it's slowing down and there's going to be a bit of a gap. So take the engagement gap plus the oncoming possible recession or whatever's going on with the economy at this moment, and you have a recipe for disaster for most wedding photographers. So the question is now, how do you deal with this engagement gap and keep your business running throughout the next couple of years? Because again, everyone wants to focus on taking great photos, but at the end of the day, you really need to focus on running your business. So let's talk about some things that you can do to help your business out and get through this engagement gap. The first thing you can do to help your business out is not to be scared of the engagement gap. I know all that information I told you about earlier is the quickest way to just start being scared and think, what am I going to do with my business? There's no way I'm going to book enough. Mentally try and prepare yourself and not let fear run your decisions. Now, one big thing is don't disregard your fear. Listen to it, but listen to it in a logical way. What is your fear telling you that actually will help your business versus you just reacting to the fear and then doing something that's not going to help your business out? So really, it is a scary time, but do not let it run you. This includes things like changing your prices because you think you're not going to book, or booking any kind of couple just because you want to get some work in the door. Do not start making reactionatory based off of your own fear. Trust yourself, trust your work and what you've been doing in your business throughout all of this time. Second off, if you can, try and run your business as lean as possible. And when I say lean, I'm talking about your debts. Try to pay down as much of your debts as possible. And if you have a whole bunch of gear that you're not using, sell it. Optimize everything that you do. The services you're using, if there's some that you're not, try and get rid of those. Truncate all of your services together so you're not using multiple services and paying so much month to month. Again, you want to keep your business running. So if you can get your bottom line as low as possible, this is going to help because you don't have to book as many sessions. I personally am already doing this myself because I spend a fair amount every month and I'm not really sure what each service is that I'm spending on. So I'm going through and seeing what services have multiple features where I can get rid of another service and have it all in one house. And speaking of services that have a lot of features under one house, this video sponsor Squarespace is one of the best ones. Now, again, you might think this is just a sponsor spot, but I've been on Squarespace for over 8 years now, and it is a great service, and I've watched them grow over the years and add more and more services and what they can do for your business. To start out, they're a platform that help you build your website quickly and easily. You can choose one of their templates and lay out your website, put your photos in, and everything's going to look great. But on top of that, they have email marketing. They just added courses. So if you sell courses, you can do that on your site. They have commerce. So any merch or physical products you have, you can sell that on your site. They also have member pages and great customer service. With all of these features in one house, especially the email marketing, you don't have to get 50 different services. Like really, you can do the majority of what you need to do right inside of Squarespace. And since you'll need a website anyway that looks great, that your couples can get to find you and try and book you, it's one of the best services to sign up for. Make sure to check out the link in the description below for 10% off of your first website or domain. And make sure you're not doubling up on your services. Get everything you need outside of Squarespace and you should be good to go. The third thing you can do to help your business out is to find other lanes of income. Now, there's a lot of different lanes you can take, but let's talk about a couple ones that may be easier for a photographer. Starting out with print sales. Y'all already know I love to use PicTime because they help automate your emails to go out to your couples to help you get print sales. And if you're not familiar with PicTime, here's a video about it up above. Shooting out emails to all your past clients, doing deals on prints is a great way to get some passive income in. Again, it's something that you've already done. You have the photos, so just see if anyone else wants to buy some prints, and then that will bring in a little bit of extra money. You can also take on different styles of photography that you maybe don't do as often. Find a style of photography that is easy for you to do and get that in the door as much as you can. For instance, I'm trying to take weddings less out of the state and more inside of North Carolina. This way I'm cutting my costs because I don't have to travel as much and I don't spend as much time away from my family and away from my day-to-day work since I'm only driving 15, 20, 30 minutes to an hour to the wedding rather than traveling to a whole nother state the day before, doing the wedding and coming back the day after. You can pick up family shoots if you're into that, portrait and headshot sessions, anything that you can do quick and easily at home. Also, if you don't mind being a second photographer, this is a great way to continually get work and practice in, as well as make some extra money. I've talked about it before, and I'll link the video up above as well. Being a second photographer is actually mad hype. Like, you don't have any of the responsibility of the main photographer, but you're still getting paid. You show up, you serve well, you take great photos, and you get paid, and that's it. And honestly, if your business hits a slump for a while, that's actually a great option to just be a second for a while, support other photographers who may be bringing in more work rather than stressing out the fact that you're not booking. And honestly, that's probably one of the best lanes. Like, I love being a second when I can, just showing up to someone else's wedding and supporting them. And since they know I've been shooting weddings myself, it's much easier. They can trust me and we can just get it done and I can make a little bit of money rather than being stressed and paying more for advertising to make sure that I'm booking enough. Now that you know what the engagement gap is and you have some ideas of how you can get through it, don't forget about strengthening your business. Let's talk about some things you can do for your business to make sure that it runs for a long time into the future. First off, you need to make sure that the foundations of your business are strong. If you do not have a strong foundation, you're gonna crumble when the engagement gap really sets in for photographers. Your foundation includes things like your client management system. I personally use Honeybook, and if you want to check them out, definitely check the link in the description below for 50% off of your first year. But I'm actually currently going through all of my templates to make sure that they're nice, beautiful, and automated extremely well. I've been doing this for a while now, and actually it's made a huge difference. I've already booked a full wedding and I've scheduled multiple meetings without even having to do anything. And if y'all would like to see more about Honeybook and automation and how to set that up, please let me know, because these are the things that are going to help you book better. I know a lot of photographers ask me if it's even worth it for signing up for something like Honeybook, but it truly, truly is. Even if you're only booking, I would say maybe 2 to 5 weddings a year. So again, let me know in the comments below if you want to see more about Honeybook and my automation and how I'm getting my weddings that way. On top of your client management system, you really need to make sure your website is nice and clean. Having a nice FAQ, your pricing on your site, making everything clear for the couples who come to your website makes a huge difference. You want them to get in the door quickly and be hot leads rather than a lot of price shoppers, because there's not a lot of couples. And this paired up with the automation I was just talking about goes a long way. Because don't forget, usually who's getting in touch with the couple first is the one who's going to get the booking. And now that there's not as much work to go around, you want to be top of mind with your couples at all time. Also, make sure your social media is consistent and looks great. Post often, but don't feel like you have to post every day. And honestly, I'm not a huge believer of having to post reels to get more impressions. And if y'all want a video about that, let me know in the comments below. But do not let social media run you. You run it. Post when you want to, but make strong posts and keep all your photos and your feed consistent. This way your couples know what they're going to be getting. There's nothing worse than a couple who doesn't know where you are and they're not sure what they're going to be getting for you. Make everything clear for them so that when they step in the door, they already know the majority of everything that's going on and they're ready to book you. With all of this under your belt, a great CRM, a beautiful website with Squarespace, and also making sure you're running your business very lean, you should be able to get through the wedding gap. It's not going to be an easy time for photographers, but don't give up, especially if you're in your first 1 to 2 years of being a wedding photographer. These are the moments that are going to grow you and strengthen you. And if you want to learn more about wedding photography and make sure that you're going to get the most bookings that you can, check out these videos here.